Hi guys. Wow. That was so unenthusiastic. I feel like I should be a little more excited. But I am. I really am. I can't believe I'm doing this. Finally. Fuckingly. I have been wanting to fucking record a podcast for like so long. You can ask any of my friends. Actually, I only have 2 friends, but they'll say the same thing. Because I keep telling them to yeah, like we need to, you have like those conversations and it's like, oh, well, we should record a podcast. You're like so into that. Like the conversation's so good, but it's never as like good as you think that it is. It really isn't because it's in the moment. You're with your friend, you're comfortable, you have been around for like maybe a couple of hours. So you're like, the conversation's like going, you're like on a roll. The stuff is flowing. There's like things being discussed that's very heated. It's like opinions are being thrown out there, and you're like, oh, everyone should hear this. This conversation is so good, but it's not good, I promise you. Hi. Should I introduce myself? How does this work? This is why I should not be loud with the microphone. What is up? What is going on? Okay, I don't know what's going on with the accents. Hi guys. My name is forgets her name. Okay, so my first name is Gamze. Turkish. Okay, live in the Netherlands. Fucking first generation college student. You know how it be, represent. This is so cringe. No, but it's true though. I feel like I have like some intake that I can give you guys on life here in the Netherlands, being a Turkish person with Turkish culture, because it's not as, I don't know, self-explanatory as you'd think. There's a lot of like stuff happening all the time. I want to get into all of this in like a couple of episodes, but today we're gonna keep it low key and we're gonna like keep it chill and get not that heated. Yeah. So what do? Oh yeah. So I'm a student and a full-time daughter. Love you, Mom. I used to do a lot of stuff. Like I used to be so into like YouTube. I'd like fucking record so many vlogs and like edit them, and then they'd never get uploaded. Some of them did, but they were cringy, so I took them down. Yeah. So I mean, I want to pick it up again. I miss doing creative stuff. I miss being creative. I've been so busy with school. This year has been so fucking tough on me. I swear. Like I'm doing this really rigorous program at this kind of, I mean, I'm not going to say it's prestigious because it's not prestigious, like everyone can get in, but I mean, okay, so the system here is a little different, but like it's a challenging college. Okay, that's what I can say. It's challenging, and I don't really have time for stuff like that. So it's nice to sort of get back into this and be creative and let those creative things flow in, get those juices going. Okay, so I was like, this podcast idea came into my mind yesterday as I was laying in bed trying to sleep after I finished this assignment for school. And I like handed it in and I'm like trying to sleep. And I don't know if you guys have the same thing, but when I try to sleep after after I force myself to not go to sleep because I was like doing the assignment, I can't sleep. I can't get myself to like fall asleep. So usually my mind's like racing. I'm probably thinking about like fucking anything and everything that one can think about. It's like the most random shit. So yesterday, of course, like it's 5 a.m. and I have to be up in 3 hours, but I'm thinking about podcasts. And I was like, I'm like literally thinking of this conversation I'm having right now. I know it's a one-sided conversation, but it's a conversation and I'm having it right now. And I was thinking about this conversation as I was trying to sleep. So I wrote it down in my notes app, and I've been like trying to send it to myself, but I couldn't get it to send it. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna email it to myself. So now I have my notes on my email, and it's funny. It's just funny. I just wanted to tell that story. No one cares, but so last week I was talking to this guy that I met. So we're talking through video call, and we're playing this game called We're Not Really Strangers. If you guys are familiar with it, that's great. If you're not, it's a great game actually. Like I really recommend it if you're sort of. You can even play it with like people that you already know because it's not just for strangers, but it's basically like a game. You have to like answer like sort of, you have to like show, you have to be vulnerable. That's the whole purpose of the game. Even the creator like has this little note in it. It's really cute. It says like, there's 2 ways to play this game. One, play to win, something like that, and then second is like to something like play honest or something like that. I can't remember, but and then she says like that's the way to win. So you only win if you're like vulnerable. Like the first level is perception, and the second level is connection. So we start with perception. Hold on, I'm gonna like get the cards that we used yesterday. This is so mean. Like I'm not trying to be mean. I bless his heart. He's great. He's a great guy. And this is not to like diminish him. I'm just telling you my experience. If you're listening to this. Like okay, so the questions would be like, we started off like easy. It was like, okay, so the question is like, do I seem like someone who would get a name tattooed on myself? Why or why not? And I mean, I knew obviously the answer for him would probably be no, because yes, because no. So yeah, then it's like, do you think I intimidate others? Why or why not? I was like, yeah, I guess. Maybe. like you intimidate me. Like, I'm scared right now. And he laughed. He was like, yeah, no, I mean, I guess he said things like, yeah, like people are afraid of being content. And it was really, really inspirational. Then we like got into some deeper questions, right? Okay, let me like pull them out right now. Right. So we get to a question. It's like, what's the last thing you lied to your mother about? And of course, this man answers like, I don't lie. Ever. I'm like, ever? He's like, never. Who never lies? First of all, that's a lie. Everyone lies. Come on. It's like a little while. That's what I said to him too. I was like, come on. Like you have to have lied before. Everyone lies. What the fuck do you say when you like go out clubbing and drinking and then you come home and your mom calls you and she's like, where have you been? Like, why aren't you answering? And you're like, well, you can't just, or I don't know. What if you're like, am I allowed to be like, make like dirty jokes there? Like, what if you're like doing something that you're not supposed to be doing and your mom's asking, what are you doing? Like, do you say what you're doing? No, you're not. You're lying. It's a little white lie. It's okay. Everyone does it. It's to protect each other from the truth, because no one wants to know the truth, especially your mom. So anyway, so this guy is like, oh no, I don't lie. I'm like, oh, you know what? Okay, I'll just like, fine, sure, good for you, man. And so the next question's like, oh yeah, the question is like, what is something you wouldn't want to change about yourself? And he's like, I wouldn't want to change anything about myself. He's like, I love everything. Gosh, good for you. I sound like such a hater. Oh my God. I swear I'm not hating on this man. This is just, it was just a little like, it was interesting because, the whole purpose of the game is to be vulnerable. And I'm not saying, hey, listen, maybe he actually doesn't like want to change anything about himself. And that's awesome. That's a great point to be at if you're there. But it doesn't like feel like you're like connecting, if that makes sense. And I don't know, maybe that's like a me problem. Maybe I'm the problem that I can't connect with someone that isn't flawed. Maybe that's coming from somewhere like deeper. I don't know. Should probably talk to my therapist about that. But so yeah, but I mean, it's like, okay, so I don't know. What did I answer? I was like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should like get up earlier or some shit. Because then I get scared to be vulnerable too. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to tell you my deepest, darkest thoughts about what I should change about myself. Like, that's the point of this fucking thing. Like, you're supposed to be vulnerable, right? So, I mean, I come up with, like, the stupidest fucking superficial shit ever. I'm like, oh, I could probably wake up earlier. Like, no, I don't care about waking up earlier. I don't care that, I don't need to change that. I probably should, but, like, I don't need to. Like, that's not the answer I want to give you. So, it was funny. I'm, like, looking back, I was frustrated, man. I was frustrated. And then another question was like, are you lying to yourself about anything? Of course he's like, no. Of course he's like, no, I don't lie. Oh, come on. I lie about everything. Like, I mean, to myself. I'm like, oh, sure, I got it. about like an assignment that I should probably do right now. And I'm not doing it. I'm like, oh, I'll do it later. Don't lie. You're not gonna do it later. You're gonna fucking watch Netflix. You're gonna call your friend and you're gonna have a conversation of 3 hours and then not finish your fucking assignment. That's what's happening. Someone's gonna text you, let's hang. You're gonna be like, fuck it, I'll go. I'll like do it later. I'll do it tomorrow. Or you have to test to study for it, and I'm not studying for it. I'm like, I'll learn. It's easy. It's an easy chapter. It's not. It's the cognitive abilities. No one fucking knows what that is. Okay, I don't know. You don't know. No one knows what's happening. I'm lying to myself. I don't need to go out. I should probably study right now. So, yes, I do lie. Okay, I am lying about stuff, and he probably is too. He's just. Let's see. This one. Okay, I'm gonna finish it off with this one. It was like, the question was, have you ever told someone I love you but didn't mean it? If so, why? Of course he's like, no, I don't lie. Of course he says that. Good for him, you know. Bless the person that like he is and the routes that he had to take to become that person. I'm like, oh fuck yeah. He didn't get the question at first. I'm like, oh, of course I lied. And he's like, oh, come on. Sometimes you say I love you when you're mad and you don't mean it, or like you're in a situation, especially as women, you know, we go through shit, okay? Like we have to protect ourselves sometimes. I've had instances where I had to say I love you to like my ex and I didn't mean it. Sorry if you're listening, buddy. You're great. Actually, you're not. You're a fucking abusive piece of shit. Oh my god. It just got like dark really quickly. Okay, I'm gonna move on from this subject. So it was upsetting. I was mad. I was like, oh, okay, you know, I'm sorry, I can't compete with you. And I know it's not a competition. Like, we don't have to compete, but like we can't. If you're not being vulnerable with me, I'm gonna give you shitty answers too. I'm gonna be like most fucking superficial shit. I got mad, and then I got mad at myself. I was like, why am I getting mad? I got mad that I got mad. Make it make sense. All right. Now I want to talk to you guys about this fucking amazing, just juiciest, just eyeball gouging, gut wrenching, insanely juicy beef. Okay, I'm not talking about the meat. I'm a pescatarian. All right, I'm talking about beef. Like in Dutch, we say sensa. It's sensa because it's sensational. It's sensatie. It's not just any kind of beef, too. It's like fucking TMZ, whatever that network is. It ain't got nothing on this shit. This shit is ancient, but it's so hardcore that it has gotten the most. It's like the most well-known beef, probably. So I want to talk to you guys about academic beef. Listen, okay. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we're at this point in my life where I'm talking about school in this way, but come on. It's great beef. You have to like hear this. So there's this dude in psychology, right? He did a study on verbal behavior. His name is Skinner. The guy's, you know, Skinner be skinning. He was, yeah, okay, I'll stop. He was studying verbal behavior. What does that mean? It's like, he claimed, he was like looking at like how we learn language. And he claims like we learn language by hearing words. And we learn it by, with this like thing, it's called stimuli and response. So let's say you hand me a muffin, you have like a muffin in your hand. And then when I say like, do you want the muffin? The moment you say, yes, I want the muffin, you get the muffin. The stimuli is the sentence, do you want the muffin? And then the response is yes. And then that's like when you get the muffin, you know that, well, the muffin is actually a stimuli. So when you get the muffin, you know that when you say, yes, I want the muffin, or yes, that's how you get the muffin. So that's like verbal behavior. So it's like you say something and you get something in return, probably that you want. So he did this on rats. Sorry to the vegans listening, but and they had like this palette and like they could, you know, it's the same concept, right? So this dude Skinner, he as I said, he claims that that's how we learn language. He claims that in our brain, something happens where we sort of save this. We save those sentences, if that makes sense, and then we like learn that if X person says this and you say Y, then you get Z or something like that. Now, then there's another guy. This guy, his name is Chomsky. Okay, he's just chomping. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to all the academics listening to this. They're probably cringing. They're like, ugh, this girl, where's the respect? No, I swear, these men have changed lives probably when it comes to behavior. But okay, so Chomsky wiped the floor with this Skinner. Okay, he was like, hell, this is, listen to me. When I tell you, this is Logan Paul beef level, okay? This is like fucking Austin McBroom versus, what's his name? Bryce Hall. This is that shit, okay? Like, if it was this, around this time that it was happening, because it was like happening in the, I think, 1950s or something, maybe even earlier, I don't know. Sorry if I'm supposed to know this actually, but if it was around this time, they probably have already recorded multiple videos on this and made multiple bets, and they would literally have like made diss tracks. Okay, Chomsky made a diss track from his time. He sat in his room, like, hold my beer. I'm gonna wipe the floor. No, actually, he's an academic, so he probably was like, hold my tea. Okay, he was like, hold my tea. And he explained how he debunked this whole thing. Okay, so Chomsky, he made the roast of the decennia. Okay, he said, he wrote a review. And this review, according to my professor, is like the most read review in academics. In this review, I swear you have to like read it. Some parts of it is really, really hard to understand. It's kind of tough. I was reading it. I was like, why do academics always like feel the need to write things in a certain way where it's like, that could have been so much easier. Like, you could have written that in one sentence and it's like a free fucking 3-paragraph thing. He explained multiple things. He has his own theory too about this whole stimuli response thing. He basically says like, he said, well, Skinner, actually, bitch, let me tell you. So Chomsky's model is like, there's a stimuli, sure. And then in between the stimuli and the response, so in between you asking, do you want the muffin? And the other person saying yes, it's called a black box. And the black box that's his model. So in the black box, there is cognitive functions, right? So it's, I don't know, memory, language, a lot of stuff. The language thing is actually kind of important to know. So I'm going to explain how language acquisition works. So when you're born, there's been studies on how when your mom's pregnant. So when you're still a fetus about to be born, so you even like learn language then. So when you hear maybe like your dad's talking to you, or like people are talking around you, or your mom's talking to you while you're in her belly, then apparently you pick that up. So whatever. So let's just say, for the sake of this explanation, from age 0 to age around 12, 11 is your critical period. That is when you learn the most when it comes to language. So that's like, if you're like a sponge then for like all the words and all the things and everything. Now, you have to think about it this way. Think about how you were taught language. Think about your native language. You were never set down by your parents, and they were never like, let's say your native language is English. They were never like, listen, Johnny, your parents were never like, listen, Johnny, you put the verb after the noun. Otherwise, it doesn't work. You never were set down. I mean, you were in high school, but before that, you could speak. You could make sentences, hopefully. Unless you have some sort of like neurodivergent situation, maybe. But like, assuming that you're all healthy and well, you were like, you could speak before you learned grammar. You could make sentences, right? The way that this works is our brain like saves, like, here's sentences that your parents make. So in some sense, Skinner was right. He had a point a little bit. Like, we hear it and then so you do repeat what they're saying. However, there is no possible way for you to have learned every possible sentence with every possible word that you could, because there's infinite amount of sentences that you can make. However, you learn grammar by hearing sentences, and then your brain sort of, I wish I could like show you guys, but I can't. But you have to like think of it as it's like a tree. So basically what it does is that your brain just like saves, it hears a sentence that is assumingly correct, and then it saves those rules. It's insane what the brain can do, but it like saves the rules and then it applies it to other words, and then it creates, and that way you can like create new sentences. So knowing this, I don't think that he came up with the whole tree thing, but I think Chomsky definitely used this, and this is what he means with the black box. According to Skinner is saying like, dude, like, no, you just like hear it and then you save that sentence and that's it. But that's impossible, dude. Like, come on. Chomsky was like, shut up. Chomsky, like, you're an idiot. Okay. No, he didn't say that, but he kind of meant it. He did. He said, like, you can't possibly learn all of the sentences to ever exist, and that's the way that you're speaking. That's not true. Like, that's not what's happening. So that's the muffin debunked, right? So then he went on to this other thing, and he said, like, if that was true with the muffin thing too, what would happen? Okay, so let's say you're going to cross the street, right? And you're walking. So there's a car coming, and someone shouts, "Watch out, car coming." Something like that. You know what that means. You know that you're screwed. You're going to like back the fuck up. Yeah, you're going to like go, whoop. Not dying today. If Skinner's theory would be true, then you would still walk, because like the very first time ever in your life that you hear, I mean, it probably happens multiple times in your life, right? Where you're like, don't look really, and you cross the street, something's like a car's coming. But the very first time that this happens, the very, very first time, that means that you haven't heard that sequence of sentences before, or there's a chance that you haven't heard it before. And that would mean that you would still walk, because you're like, I don't know that sense. You're like, I don't know what he's saying. Right? That doesn't make sense. Chomsky's like, shut up. Chomsky's like, you're an idiot. And he's right. Chomsky's right. Slay. No, I mean, I did say in class, I was like, actually, I kind of think that both are a little bit right. I think that they both sort of, because Skinner also had like other theories with his model. Because in some sense, giving stimuli and then having a response works not really with verbal behavior, but I would say with other behavioral methods. I think that in clinical psychology it's being used a lot, perhaps, or like in self-help psychology. You'll see it in a lot of books like Atomic Habits or The Subtle Art of Not, I don't know. You know, the self-help books. It's a lot of like, oh, like you have to, you do this, so your response is this, or I don't know. There's a lot of behavioral psychology happening. It's like the Pavlov dog thing, right? You know how they say like, oh, well, don't reward bad behavior with good stuff. Like if you're not going out for a run, don't treat yourself on, I don't know, chocolate. In my opinion, he's kind of right. I was like, yeah, well, I don't think there's a world where neither of those models like are either right or wrong. I think that they can go hand in hand. However, in verbal behavior, there's definitely a black box, and there's no way that it's just you learn. Imagine if that was the case. Like you learn every sentence possible, and you're like 13, and your first boyfriend breaks up with you, and he's like, "I don't love you." And you're like, "What does that mean?" You're like, "My mom and dad never said that to me." You're like, I don't understand. And he's like, "You're stupid, Becca." And you're like, "What? Can you explain to me what that means?" And he's like, "This is my point. You always do this." And you're like, "Wait, Josh, no, I don't know what you mean." He's like, "Get out." "Get out? Where?" And he's like, "Well, I never loved you." And it's like, "Oh, well, I know that one. My mom says it all the time." Sorry, Becca. Poor Becca. She must have like gone through. So yeah, that's it. That's the academic weapon. It's the roast of the decennia. The fucking black box. Fucking Chomsky wiping the floor with Skinner. Imagine that's how we do things in academics. We're like, yo, stop writing reviews for each other. Get in the ring. Tell him why his theory and his model is shitty. Okay, debunk that shit. Give him an uppercut and be like, oh, yeah, your hypothesis, dude, you're so dumb. Oh my gosh. Cognition is crazy, guys. It's crazy what our mind can do. I sound like a Chad that's like from Venice and it has like that it like surfed for the first time. It's like learning about planktons. He's like, guys, nature's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, just osmosis, fucking chloroplasts and shit. Yeah, mitochondria. Yeah, you're right, Chad. You're right. It's crazy. Our university just released this whole article on ChatGPT. And they're saying like, well, don't use it unless you're being asked to use it. And of course, no one's going to ask to use it. But like a bunch of... So we had this like course, Statistics in R. And it's basically, I mean, I don't know how... I know that a lot of college kids had this course because it's like, I think R is like preferred way to do statistics in academics. But with us, we had a full like 1 month of boot camp where it was like 9 to 5. You had to be at school and like work on this project. Like a final report where you had to do like data analysis in our studio on our research project. I think the AI thing just came out, and I mean a bunch of my classmates were using it, and at some point our TA was like, yeah, sure, like you can use this, but our professor didn't really know about that, and he was like, well, you're not supposed to use it, and like our TA didn't, whatever, there was a miscommunication happening. But so they were using it, and to generate code. Okay, so if you don't know what R is, it's like you can do like programming in it, but within like universities, it's mostly used to do data analysis. I don't want to tell you, for a moment there, I felt like Elon Musk. I don't know if he does code. Actually, wait, I think Mark Zuckerberg does. I don't know. I feel like a computer science guy. Okay, I felt like, look at me with my zeros and my ones, my binary models. I was like clickety clackety on my laptop. And I had mental breakdowns, and it was like, I fit into the computer science stereotype. I love it here. I don't ever want to leave. I'm going to be a millionaire. It was fun, though. I was having fun. I was like, I hated my life, but I loved it. Oh, gosh. Call me a masochist. Yeah, so I had to, like, do a bunch of code in the first week and, like, learn how to sort of get along with the program. And it was fun. I had fun until we had to do data analysis. And then it was like, oh yeah, like fucking figure out, what was it? Oh, inferential statistics. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we had to do like longitudinal something. And then there's like the whole part where you have to explain what you're doing. And it's like, I can't do it. Like, give me the coding. I'll code for you. Like, I'll write down the script. I fucking loved scripting. I loved writing in the box and like having the error and like trying to fix it and figure out that there's like, you're missing a comma. You're missing a fucking comma. And like all the TikToks that I would see where it was like computer science talk, and then they would like make TikToks on like, oh, well, when we've been coding the whole night and then you figure out that you missed the little parentheses. You missed the second parentheses, which is why your whole code has not been working and you can't knit the file into an HTML. Okay, all this is like lingo that's just unnecessary. So basically, it's a really precise thing. If you just miss one comma, it doesn't work. So you have to be precise. And that's the fun part. It was really fun doing that. But getting to that point, it was tough. It was long hours. It felt good to like dip my toes into the computer science world, though. I think I'm gonna like tackle Python next. Talk coding to me. You're gonna put the binary models next. Oh, did you generate this script properly? properly? Did you or did you work in the console? Did you copy your work to the script? Oh, it didn't. Oh, it's not working. Oh, well, I knew I should have called Zuckerberg and not you. Stupid Microsoft. What has this episode become? The next episode is going to be so much more fun. Talking about politics, I kind of want to bring this up because it's important to me. If you have a dollar, a euro, a pesos, any value, a pound that you can spare, or maybe like your morning coffee of $4 or something, please donate to the Turkish earthquake foundations. I will try and see if I can link some in this episode of this week. And my heart truly goes out to all of the victims that have been affected by the earthquake. And, it's interesting because, see, they say these things like we can never really, I'm going to speak for myself, but like mostly people that don't live there, or actually everyone that doesn't live there can never attest to what they're going through and how they're feeling and how bad it is. Even if you're seeing it on Instagram and you're reposting things, which is great, we need to like let people hear about this, because then it gets attention, and then people donate and the help is getting there where it's supposed to be, or at least we hope. So it's kind of difficult for me because I used to be one of those people that was like, well, posting doesn't do anything. It does. It kind of does. You need to like let your voice be heard. But sometimes people tend to like overdo it. What I mean with that is like we here in the Netherlands, some people have been like, bless their hearts, they mean well. They like packed up a bunch of like clothing, like warm clothes, like warm jackets and stuff like that to send out there and like to ship with trucks. But a lot of it is kind of I'm not gonna say it's for show, because I'm sure that they mean well, but it sometimes feels like that. It's like, do you really need to like cry on TikTok? Like, is that really necessary? I'm not hating. Listen to me. It is emotional. Or it was really emotional at the time when it was really like raw. It was like fresh and it just happened. It's like, it's this crazy news and it's upsetting. It is. If you feel the need to cry and to be upset, please be emotional. The worst thing that you can do is keep your emotions to yourself and like just not cry and be like, oh, I gotta be a man. Like, no. Let those tears, baby. Let those tears flow. But what is it with the need to cry on social media? Like, I'm trying to see this from their perspective. Maybe it's to like, I'm trying to see it this way. So it could be where their thinking is like, okay, well, if I do this, if I cry and I post this, then people will feel sorry and they will donate. That's a possible thing that they're thinking. It makes sense a little bit. I get it. Some people are sensitive to crying. I personally, as a crier myself, I'm immune to it now. I'm like, listen, babe, I'm right there with you. I'm just thinking about the other side, which is like, you really just prompted up your phone, started crying, and then was like, okay, like you looked back at it to your phone, you're looking at yourself, the video that you just recorded of yourself crying, and then you're like, I'm going to post this. Hashtag FYP. Hashtag for you. Hashtag for you page. Hashtag donate. It's just a thought. It's just, let's debate it. Let's think about that a little bit. Let's like let it like marinate in your mind. And then there's the whole thing of, the money that is being donated. And I'm not going to get too much into politics because I don't want to like get canceled the first episode. But I do think that there are some scares of where the money is going. And I understand. The best thing to do is just give to the nonprofits. the NGOs, the non-profit organizations, like you have Ahbap and what's the other one? Afat, I think. I know that Ahbap is really good, and Haluk Levant is like really involved with them, and he's been doing great stuff. Which, see, that's the other side of the whole crying on TikTok thing. Like he's being great on social media. He's getting and it's like, it's also like the I think it's the audience. It's like, what is some random dude living in Rotterdam crying on TikTok gonna do versus Haluk Levent? You know what I mean? Like, you have to think about that. Like, what's your audience? Like, what are we here gonna do? Like, sure, we donate money. I tried to find like some jackets that were not worn and like sent them out, and that's all we can do. And the problem is, the funny thing is, I've seen things, and I really don't want to like draw conclusions from what I've been seeing on social media, because I know that things get twisted so much, especially in Turkey. There's so much censoring happening and stuff. But I did see, I don't know if it's true, so don't like quote me on it. I saw like people are not wearing the clothes that have been donated in the areas of the earthquake because it's secondhand. I don't know. I've seen like videos and stuff. I don't want to draw conclusions, but it makes me think. It makes me think of someone once said to me, I can't remember, Turkish people there think very short term. Apparently, like some people were offered to like get out of the house because the construction wasn't properly done. So the foundation of the building is not good enough to be surviving in earthquakes. And they were like asked to like leave and like live somewhere else for a while while that's being fixed or whatever. And the people were like, well, no, like, is it done now? Like, can we like live now? And it's like, no, well, it's going to take a year before the whole building is like reconstructed properly. And they're like, a year? No. We want to live here. We just want to stay home. That's what I mean. Like, it's very short term. It's interesting. I think there's a lot of politics happening with the way that they get authorized to build the government aided, like funded buildings, like their structure versus like someone that did it on their own or something, or like a building that's owned by just like a civilian and not the government. I don't know. There's a lot to say on rules and restrictions and policies that are implied in the whole area. I think even in the whole country. Like, the thing I'm thinking is like Turkey. So the education system is fucked up. Okay, it's unfair. It's like it's not stimulating to the. I guess it's fair, but it's like not stimulating because they have to get tested so much, as far as I've like learned. So what happens? Like they finish high school, they have to get tests. They do a test to get into college, and then after college, like they do. Obviously, you like have exams during college, and then after they like graduate, they have to do another exam in order to start the job that they want, and they have to do another. And it's like a lot of exams. The point is they're being filtered. It's a lot of filtering that's happening in the education system. On one hand, of course, it's not very stimulating for a young person to be studying then. They tend to like, after doing the most bare minimum, they like stop school and then they start working, which is very unfortunate because education is a privilege, of course. But on the other hand, though, with this system, what you have is these very, very smart, educated people, right? Because there are people that go through that whole filter. They keep getting tested in exam after exam after exam, and they're extremely smart. And we have so many of those people in Turkey. And the thing is, we also have a lot of like, what's the English term for that? Like seismoloog it's in Dutch, but so like I guess people dealing with plates, like tectonic plates, and like geographers. I don't know if that's the right term that I'm using. People that have studied that. They know the earth, they know core things of grounds, and you know what I mean, right? Geography stuff. So we have these academically rigorous, studied people and professionals, if you will, And we have a bunch of them there. And they've been warning these people. Turkey is on, like, the whole country is surrounded by these plates, these tectonic plates. And, you know, when they, like, bump into each other, and, like, the earthquakes happen, whatever. And this is a known fact. The problem is just there's a lot of, like, in Turkish they say torpil, which is like, I don't even know. Let me look that up. Okay, so Turkish English Dictionary says it's giving preferential treatment. Yeah, so the government is getting preferential treatment, if you will, right? It's like this, you know, some people in some places. That's what it, like, comes down to. And that's so unfortunate because you have these people that know what they're doing, and then you don't listen to them because you're trying to make some money. Like, half of the money fucking goes to, you know, people in high places. I'm not getting into politics, I said, but here I am talking shit. Sorry for all the stands. Let me not get into that right now. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's because it could have been prevented. Did you guys see that video of, like, fucking Japan with the 9.2 earthquake, and you see those buildings? I mean, that's fucked up, by the way. Fucking scary as fuck, bro. 9.2, that shit's scary as hell. But these fucking skyscrapers just barely moving. They were moving, but they were not falling onto the ground and crumpling into, like, a million pieces, like what's been happening in Marash and Antip and all these in Syria. And that just shows, you know, it makes me think, how much does the government care? And I was thinking, I was like, you know what? It's free to say live in the Netherlands. It's a tiny ass country. Like, it's the size of Michigan. It's the size of, wait, it was Konya. I think Konya was the size of the Netherlands. My point is, like, it's easy for me to say, like, our government doesn't have a lot of land to be, like, controlling over. It's easier to implement new laws and policies and rules and whatever. But then again, he has the budget for it. So, like, babes, really, you're really messing up here. You're really not doing what you should be doing. And he's got to stop assigning his cousins into ministries that they don't belong to. It's like, yo, hey, fucking, I don't know, give me a random three. Mehmet, okay? Hey, Mehmet, you're my cousin. You can do 2 + 2. Why don't you do the Ministry of Economics for us, huh? Yeah, come on. You, what's your name? Leila. Okay, Leila? What? What college did you go to? Did you study? Oh, you know 2 Rihanna songs? Drake? Okay, you're doing Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Foreign exchange. What is it? Foreign exchange. Foreign affairs. Yeah, foreign affairs. Yeah? You're going to pick out the ambassadors of our. Let's go. We're slaying. I feel like that's how it like goes on over there. Torpil geçmek. Torpil. Again, if you want to donate, please check out the links of this podcast episode. And I mean, all we can do is pray, really. Please donate if you can. Don't buy coffee on Friday. Just buy someone some water and dinner while they're staying in tents. I'm trying to make this as dramatic. I mean, hey, at least I'm not crying on. Okay, so really, seriously though, I want to like bring out guests and record with them, mainly because I think the experience here, I want to like talk about the experience being an immigrant daughter in the Netherlands. Stuff like toxic culture here, of how, bro, when I tell you, this place like sucks. Like, y'all stereotypes Amsterdam so much, but I mean, you know, you gotta keep things in their value, in their core value, but this place isn't as great as you guys make it seem, in my opinion. Now, I have lived in 2 countries, mainly in the Netherlands. I've lived 6 months in New Jersey. I want to talk about that in a whole nother episode of my experience there. Coming back here after that experience, after being there for 6 months, it's opened my eyes to so much, especially like just how people from every generation like act differently, and like just the stereotypical things that happens, the taboo within the Turkish community here, and then the general like European Turkish community. So much politics. Yay! I'm gonna be like the fucking Hassan Piker Piquet. Oh gosh. Okay. Well, that's it from me today. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Give me a little follow. Give me a little follow, Rainy. Y'all are probably gonna block me after that outro. No, but seriously, add me on Instagram. Gamze Simanur. Should I spell it out for you? That's GAMZESIMANUR. And on TikTok, it's not .sima. Send me DMs on what y'all want to hear. If you want to be a guest on the episode, send me a DM. Let's talk. Let's see what we can do. We can make it happen. We can make things happen. This is fun. This is an open platform. Everyone has a voice here. Except if you're a racist. Actually, then I want you to talk to. I want to hear why you think the way that you do. Like, what's going on in that silly little brain of yours? So thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.